GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Montreal. Tonight we celebrate Pride's 20-year milestone, hear how Alexis Galarneau earned his spot in the National Bank Omnium, and check the weekend forecast as temperatures climb. Traffic's light on the Ville-Marie corridor and we'll spot a new community art pop-up. Over to you, Emma.
Tonight at Park Jean-Drapeau, the Otaku Piano anime concert under blooming sakura trees begins at 7 p.m., featuring orchestral renditions of classic series.
Tickets cost $15 for adults, $10 for seniors and students, with a limited early bird reservation window that closed yesterday and seating for 500 attendees.
The program includes a live cosplay parade at 6:30, guest appearances by popular voice actors, and a collaborative piano sing-along segment for audience participation.
Lots to get to, let's begin, as the evening lights rise over the park and our first news segment prepares to roll out. Good evening, Montreal. Montreal's Pride Festival turns 20, pivoting toward dialogue and healing after last year's crisis disrupted the celebration. Organizers aim to restore activist roots while fostering community conversation. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
20 years after its first march, Pride Montreal returns this weekend with a clear shift toward dialogue and repair. After a crisis that upended last year's festivities, organizers have restructured the program to include town hall-style conversations, mental health workshops, and panels that examine the movement's activist roots. The schedule now weaves traditional parades with community-focused forums, giving space for both celebration and honest reflection. Partnerships with local health groups and queer-led NGOs aim to provide resources for those affected by the previous disruption. As the streets fill with rainbow flags, the emphasis is less on spectacle and more on rebuilding trust within the community. Today, Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Alexis Galarneau has clinched a place in the main field of the National Bank Omnium, the premier road cycling race that winds through the city each summer. The Canadian rider joins 3 fellow countrymen, bringing the total of homegrown competitors to 4. The race, scheduled for tonight, will showcase a fast-paced circuit that threads through downtown streets and the historic Old Port, drawing a strong international roster. Organizers said the field features seasoned pros from Europe and North America, and Galarneau's qualification marks a significant step for his growing career. Fans can expect a lively atmosphere as spectators line the route, and the event will be streamed live on national sports channels. The race kicks off at 7:37 this evening with a televised start from Place des Arts, adding to the city's vibrant summer calendar. The National Bank Omnium continues its tradition of highlighting local talent alongside world-class cyclists.
The 1976 Summer Games are set to join Quebec's Cultural Heritage Registry today, marking the 50th anniversary of the event that first placed the island on the world stage. Heritage officials say the designation honors the lasting cultural imprint of the Olympics, which captured the attention of roughly 1 billion viewers worldwide. The ceremony, scheduled for this afternoon at City Hall, will feature remarks from provincial heritage leaders and a short video recalling the iconic moments that defined the summer of '76. Organizers note that the recognition comes as the city continues to celebrate its Olympic legacy through new public art and community programs. Tourists and school groups alike will now have an official point of pride to explore during visits and lessons. As the historic status is formalized, Montrealers are reminded of how the Games helped shape the city's identity and global reputation.
Montreal's social housing apartments are now temporary heat monitoring labs, with researchers tracking indoor temperatures of 25 degrees Celsius against an outside 26 degrees as the city studies summer heat impacts. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Researchers from the city have set up temporary heat monitoring stations inside social housing units across Montreal for the summer. Tenants are allowing their apartments to serve as test sites while scientists record indoor temperature trends. So far, readings show the outdoor air hovering around 26 degrees Celsius while the interior stays near 25, giving a clear picture of how heat moves through these buildings. The project aims to gather data that can inform future upgrades to keep residents comfortable during heat waves. Engineers will install sensors and collect information over the months, comparing results from different blocks to identify patterns. The study is part of a broader effort to improve living conditions in the city's most vulnerable neighborhoods. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Two former Olympic venues are now celebrated as thriving urban assets. The Claude Rabiat Sports Complex and the Etienne Desmarteau Center, built for the 1976 Summer Games, have seamlessly woven themselves into the city's daily rhythm. Today, officials praised how both sites continue to host community leagues, school programs, and elite training while remaining open to casual visitors. Their location within dense neighborhoods allows easy access by metro and bike share, turning what were once grand stadiums into neighborhood hubs. Recent surveys show steady attendance across summer months, confirming the facility's role in promoting active lifestyles. City planners point to the seamless integration as a model for future redevelopment projects, emphasizing that the legacy of the Olympics lives on not in monuments but in everyday recreation. Parents bring children to swimming pools, while senior groups gather for low-impact fitness classes, keeping the venues lively from dawn till dusk. Up next, we unpack Quebec Delay's release of updated flood maps planned for August 1. Plus more after the break. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Good evening, Montreal. At 5 a.m. this morning, journalist Jean-Christophe Lawrence set out to document the wooden crosses that line countless Quebec highways. Those simple timber markers many families say have stood for decades as silent memorials to loved ones lost in traffic accidents. Lawrence's investigation probes who is responsible for installing and caring for the crosses, whether municipal crews, roadside volunteers, or private individuals, and how often they are repaired or replaced. He also asks why the province has no formal policy governing the practice, despite the cross's deep cultural resonance. The inquiry comes as Quebec officials consider broader road safety measures, raising questions about how heritage and public safety intersect. Lawrence will report his findings in an upcoming feature, aiming to clarify the origins and upkeep of this distinctive roadside tradition locally.
The Quebec Environment Ministry has postponed the August 1st release of its first updated flood zone maps since 2019, a move backed by Greater Montreal mayors amid repeated flooding. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
The Quebec Environment Ministry announced today that the rollout of the province's updated flood zone maps, originally slated for August 1, 2026, has been pushed back. The maps, which have not been revised since 2019, were meant to guide homeowners and planners across the Greater Montreal area after a series of recent floods. Mayors from municipalities spanning the region have pressed the ministry for an immediate release, saying the delay leaves residents without critical risk information. Officials said the postponement allows for additional data verification and coordination with local authorities. The gap since the last update has heightened concerns among homeowners in flood-prone areas. The ministry said it will work with municipal engineers before finalizing the charts. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Plateau.
New York police announced yesterday that GPS records from the suspect's vehicle placed him at the exact site where the body of a teenage girl from Montreal was found last summer. A forensic specialist with the NYPD testified that the car's navigation data aligned with the location in the borough where investigators discovered the remains, strengthening the case against the man charged with second-degree murder. Prosecutors say the electronic evidence ties the accused directly to the crime scene, complementing other forensic findings gathered during the investigation. The suspect, who was arrested earlier this year, now faces a murder trial in New York, while authorities continue to work with Canadian officials to provide the family with answers. The testimony marks a key development in a cross-border homicide that has drawn intense public attention.
Yesterday, health officials in the Montérégie region administered emergency rabies vaccinations to 3 individuals after they were exposed to a cat that tested positive for the virus. The Montérégie Public Health Department confirmed the animal was rabid, prompting immediate post-exposure prophylaxis for the victims. All 3 received the full series of injections, a standard protocol designed to prevent the onset of disease following a bite or other contact with infected saliva. Authorities emphasize the rarity of rabies cases in domestic cats, but stress the importance of swift medical intervention when exposure is suspected. The department continues to monitor the situation and is urging anyone who has been bitten or scratched by an animal with unknown health status to seek care promptly. No further incidents have been reported in the surrounding Montreal area.
A Quebec Superior Court judge has ordered the provincial government and tourism minister to pay over $60,000 to a Christian anti-abortion group after finding a contract breach and freedom of expression violation. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
The Quebec Superior Court has ordered the provincial government and former tourism minister Caroline Praux to pay more than $60,000 to a Christian anti-abortion organization. The judge found the province breached a 2023 contract with the group and infringed its freedom of expression. The court ruled the agreement was illegal, forcing the government to compensate the organization for the contractual violation. The decision comes after the ministry's tourism department signed the pact last year, only to be challenged in court. Both the province and the former minister now face the financial penalty imposed by the judge on July 31, 2026. Legal experts said the ruling reinforces the need for government agreements to respect constitutional rights. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
And now, let's turn to the forecast with our meteorologist for tonight's weather outlook.
A weakening ridge and a southerly jet are stripping heat, leaving Montreal under overcast skies tonight. On this date, Montreal once sweltered to 31.4 degrees in 2024, a record set during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed the southern ridge unusually far north. Just a year earlier, the city plunged to 11.6 degrees in 2023, when a deep Arctic trough ripped through, dumping cold air across the province. By contrast, the climatological average for the 1st of August hovers around 26 degrees high and 19 degrees low, leaving today's 28-degree high modestly above normal. Scanning the live mosaic, the reflectivity field is blank across the entire province. No rain echoes from the south, and the northern band of convection remains dormant. This emptiness reflects the current high-pressure cap and the relatively weak southerly jet that is unable to lift the moist air into clouds. With the jet streaming at 78 kilometers per hour, any disturbance would have been steered eastward, so we now pivot to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m., Montreal sits under a thick overcast veil with the temperature holding at 26 degrees and humidity near 54%. Wind is a gentle southwest at 6 kilometers per hour, gusting to 17, so feels calm. Pressure remains near average but is easing lower, hinting at a gradual shift toward unsettled weather as the ridge retreats. Overhead, a southerly jet streams at 78 kilometers per hour, enough to keep clouds thick but not to trigger rain, which matches the radar's silence. The ultraviolet index reads 5 and wind will stay below 25 kilometers per hour. A rainfall warning persists for the Saint Adèle, Saint Sauveur corridor. Residents should stay alert to sudden showers. Clouds will linger, temperatures slipping to 20 degrees after midnight before climbing back to 25 by dawn. Looking ahead, Sunday will remain overcast with a 70% chance of rain, temperatures climbing to 28 degrees by afternoon and falling to 20 degrees overnight. Monday repeats the pattern, overcast skies and a 70% rain risk, high 24 and low 17. Tuesday breaks the wet spell. Clear skies dominate, allowing sunshine to push the high to 26 and the low to 17. Wednesday returns to cloud cover, though rain chances drop to modest levels, with a high of 27 and a low of 18. Thursday eases further, overcast, but only 35% rain probability, high 26 and low 20. The jet stream will gradually shift northward, reducing lift and giving the region a drier, more stable finish to the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tune for traffic tips, a look at Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine Tour, and a recap of the Habs draft preview. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
All major routes are moving freely this afternoon. Autoroute 6, Autoroute 15, and the Daiquiri Expressway show no delays, and traffic on Boulevard St. Laurent, Rue Sherbrooke, and Rue St. Denis remains light. Drivers heading west toward the West Island will find Rue Notre Dame and Boulevard Daiquiri clear, while eastbound commuters on Rue Notre Dame and Rue St. Laurent report smooth flow. No construction or accidents are reported at this time. Looking ahead, the typical evening buildup may begin around 6 o'clock, especially on Autoroute 15 near the Daiquiri interchange and on Rue St. Denis as downtown traffic returns. If you're planning a trip after 6, allow a few extra minutes and consider alternate routes such as Rue Peel or the St. Laurent corridor. Metro lines are operating normally with no service changes reported. Stay tuned for any updates as the evening progresses. A light rain shower is moving through the east side, but pavement stays dry and visibility remains good.
Ariana Grande lights up the Bell Center tonight with her Eternal Sunshine Tour, a pop spectacle that delivers soaring vocals, surprise guests, and the biggest hits from her latest album. A night of pure energy for anyone who loves a high-octane sing-along. Across town, the Noise Not Borders Fest sweeps through La Sala Rosa, Casa del Popolo, and other venues, offering a weekend of punk, electronic, and hardcore sounds from LGBTQ+, BIPOC, and migrant communities, a bold celebration of fresh voices that challenge the status quo. Meanwhile, the Fantasia International Film Festival continues at the Hall Concordia Theater, presenting daring horror, fantasy, and sci-fi premieres that push cinematic boundaries and give curious film lovers a taste of the avant-garde. Looking ahead, tomorrow the Bell Center welcomes Five Finger Death Punch, a heavy metal thunderstorm that will shake the city and give rock fans a powerful send-off before the summer winds down. And now here's Jason with sports.
Draft hopes, depth moves, and a key trade shape the Habs' summer outlook. Montreal's scouting department is eyeing 3 prospects for the 2027 draft, aiming to plug lingering gaps on the roster. Meanwhile, Tommy Novik's 3-year deal in Pittsburgh, Colin Graff's extension in San Jose, and Cole Perfetti's Jets' renewal signal league-wide talent shifts, while the Ducks grapple with Leo Carlsson's contract reshaping their defense. Arbor Xhekaj sits at a crossroads as the Habs weigh his role on the blue line, while the organization ranks second in spending efficiency per Dom Luszczyszyn's analysis. Samuel Montembolt's celebrated fatherhood and the IIHF's ban on Russian teams for 2027 tournaments reshapes international competition. The Canadiens now boast a deeper blue line, a product of Martin St. Louis and Kent Hughes rewarding performance and cultivating depth. New Laval Rocket head coach Daniel Jacob inherits a roster markedly different from last season, while Hughes' center depth strategy promises to sustain the Habs' offensive thrust. Evaluating Kirill Marchenko's price tag, the Habs weigh whether a king's ransom aligns with their under-25 core, which currently ranks among the league's top 5. Revisiting Brett Kulak's trade outcome and Adam Engström's deadline interest adds context, while Daniel Jacobs' Rocket project aims to accelerate development. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson shared insights on Hutson's debut, underscoring the line's chemistry. Ivan Demidov emerged as a breakout candidate, while the acquisition of Sasha Pastujov for Sean Farrell adds a versatile forward to the mix. Jake Allen voiced skepticism about maintaining a 3-goalie rotation. The Canadiens completed a forward swap, sending Sean Farrell to Anaheim and receiving Sasha Pastujov, a 23-year-old restricted free agent. Pastujov, a former third-round pick, offers depth and potential upside as Montreal reshapes its offensive lineup.
Alimentation Couch Tard, right on St. Laurent Boulevard, has been a familiar stop for late-night coffee and quick bites for generations of Montrealers. Today the family-run chain is stepping onto a global stage, having filed a bid to acquire Poland's Circle K Polska, a move that would add hundreds of stores across Europe to its portfolio. This expansion signals that the company sees Montreal not just as a local hub, but as a launchpad for international retail ambition. For the St. Laurent neighborhood, the news means more jobs, new partnerships, and a reminder that the convenience store on the corner is part of a larger story of growth. It's a point of pride that a homegrown brand is shaping the world while still serving our midnight cravings. Coming up, we investigate the bus overturn in Gaspésie that left a child injured, plus the overnight gunshots in 2 neighborhoods.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Good evening, Montreal. 23 passengers were aboard a bus that overturned on a rural Gaspésie road, leaving a child injured as Sûreté du Québec begins its investigation. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
The night of July 31, 2026, a bus carrying 23 passengers overturned on a rural road in Gaspésie. The accident occurred near Cap-Chat, a stretch known for sharp curves and low lighting. Emergency crews arrived quickly, extricating the occupants and rushing a young child with injuries to the nearest hospital. Police confirmed no other serious injuries among the remaining passengers. Sûreté du Québec opened an investigation, examining the road surface, driver actions, and any mechanical issues that could have contributed to the crash. Witnesses reported hearing a loud impact before seeing the vehicle roll onto its side. Authorities are gathering statements from anyone who saw the incident. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Gaspésie.
Gunshots echoed through Côte des Neiges and Pierrefonds-Roxborough early Friday morning, prompting police alerts across both boroughs. Authorities are investigating the source of the overnight fire. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Gunfire erupted in the early hours of Friday, July 31st, echoing through the boroughs of Côte des Neiges and Pierrefonds-Roxborough. Residents reported hearing multiple rounds, prompting several calls to emergency services. The incidents occurred in residential districts, and the sudden noise caused a noticeable disturbance among locals. Police responded to both locations, establishing a visible presence on the streets, while investigators canvassed the area for witnesses and evidence. No injuries have been confirmed at this time, and authorities have not released details on a possible motive or suspect. Officers remained on scene throughout the night to secure the neighborhoods and continue gathering information. Further updates will follow as the investigation develops. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Côte des Neiges.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's look at the 20-year milestone of Pride Montreal reminded us how dialogue can shape our community. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Until then, stay safe and keep the conversation going.